Hi, my name is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a book haul of all the books that I've acquired since the end of August, basically September 1st until about, I don't want to say now because I haven't actually bought any books since like October, maybe even September. It might have just been September. I don't know, I haven't bought a lot of books recently because of my birthday coming up and Christmas coming up. I knew I would need to give people a list of books that I wanted. Yeah, I would say since about September 1st until about, we'll just say September and October. I wanted to do a book haul now before my birthday starts and Christmas because I'll make a separate video for when that happens. So let's just jump right into it. So the first book that I bought was Majesty by Katharine McGee. I already read this. This is the second book to the American Royals duology. I don't know if there's going to be any more books to this world, I guess, but I really hope that there is. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year. I read it. I literally went to Barnes & Noble the day it came out and read the entire book in one sitting. I finished it that day. So for those of you who haven't heard, this is obviously, like I said, book 2 of the American Royals series, duology. It basically follows, instead of becoming president, George Washington becomes king. Fast forward to today, it basically follows the royal family. So there's Beatrice, who is going to be the first queen. Then there are the twins, Jefferson and Samantha. So I don't want to talk too much about the book because it will spoil everything, but I loved the first book. I think I gave the first book 3.5 or 4, and I was very hesitant of going into this, but I absolutely loved it. I gave this one 5 stars. So yeah, that was the first book I got. The second book that I got also came out. I got the first 4 books. I'm doing all in one chunk. I all got them on the same day because they all came out on the same day. So the next book is Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. This is the second book to the Serpent and Dove trilogy, because I believe it's a trilogy now. It was supposed to be a duology, but this basically follows a witch and a witch hunter who are forced into marriage, and a lot of stuff happens. Again, because this is a second book, I don't want to talk too much into it for those of you who have not read the first one, but again, the main premise, witch and witch hunter, or forced marriage, and a whole lot happens. I have not read this one yet. I was planning on reading it as soon as it came out after I finished Majesty. However, I was rereading Serpent and Dove and I never picked this one up, I guess. I really couldn't tell you why. I still want to read it, so maybe it's November now, so it's been about 2 months since it's released. So, I don't know, I'm still interested in reading it, and hopefully I'll read it soon, at least before the third book comes out. So, the next book that I got was The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare. This is, again, book 2 to the Eldest Curses trilogy. It basically follows Magnus and Alec, and that's all I really know. Honestly, I haven't read the first book yet, so I don't really know. I don't want to read what it's about. I don't really know when you're supposed to read this trilogy either. I think it's just randomly throughout the series you can read it, but don't quote me on that. It came out the same day. I like to try and get caught up in Cassandra Clare. This year I decided to reread all of her books, and I started with City of Bones. So I recently finished City of Heavenly Fire like this summer, and I'm up to Tales of a Shadowhunter Academy one, the bind-up novella bind-up. I haven't picked it up yet. I don't know why. I've kind of just been in a weird mood where I'll make a TBR of what I'm going to read, and then I read nothing from it, and I read everything else. So I hope to get to this soon once I can. And Magnus and Alec are my favorite characters in the Mortal Instruments series, and when Cassandra Clare said that she was making a trilogy just based off them, I had to support and get it. So the final book I got at Barnes & Noble that day, because I got all these from Barnes & Noble, because they all came out on the same day, and this is the last one I got, and I don't have the dust jacket on. I think it's somewhere in my room, because I can't find it in here. But that is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. I've already read this, absolutely loved it. So basically, Gadriel, tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize, summons a ghost and now he can't get rid of it. So basically it follows Gadriel and his cousin Maurizia as they basically summon a ghost. They were trying to summon his other cousin Miguel because to find out what happened to him. However, instead of Miguel, they summon Julian Diaz. and basically the two of them help each other with trying to find Miguel and trying to find Julian's body. I absolutely love this book. I believe I gave it 5 stars. I did. I gave it 5 stars, and it's a good book to read in October. It was a very quick read, honestly, and the descriptions of the food, my god, make sure you're eating something while you're reading, or have food near you, because you're going to want to eat while you read this book. Like, this book, as I would read this book on my lunch break, and it was just the descriptions of the food. I mean, don't get me wrong, everything else in the book was fantastic too, but the descriptions of the food was just, oh my god, it made me so hungry. But I highly recommend it. I'll put a picture up of the cover somewhere at the beginning, because I don't know where I put the dust jacket. But that was the last book that I got from Barnes & Noble that day. So the next book I'm going to talk about, I got from Target. I went to Target and I bought books. So the first one is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Non? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Basically, I really don't know what this book really is about. I know a lot of people were reading it this year, because I think the second book just came out. I don't know the name of it. But I saw it and 20% off. And I was like, you know what, I might as well get it, see what it's about. I only got the first book because like the back doesn't really have a description. It just says, in my land we're known as paper girls, easily torn, existing only for others to use and discard. But there's something they've all forgotten about paper. It can light the world on fire and make it burn. So it sounds interesting from like that back of the description, but I really couldn't tell you much more. Ooh, it's a palace! I'm sorry, I like it when books include things to help the reader make it in your mind, so it's like a hidden palace. So yeah, it's from the Jimmy Patterson publication group, but that's no longer a thing. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope to love it so I can read the other two, because I believe it's going to be a trilogy. Then from Target, I got One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. Ooh, that's a cool name. Basically, it says real love as seen on TV. It's basically when a plus-size woman goes on The Bachelorette. So I am very looking forward to this. I love The Bachelorette, so I'm very excited for this. I meant to read it this summer, but then I never ended up reading it. But maybe now that The Bachelorette is on, I can read it. That sounds like a cool idea. The cover is gorgeous, and I haven't heard anything bad about it, so I look forward to this. The next book at Target I'm loaning to a friend right now, and that's The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I'll put a picture up, but I'm loaning it to a friend because she wanted to read it. She hasn't given it back yet, which is fine. I know that she has it, and that's all that matters. I picked it up because I was at Target, and a lot of people were loving the book, so I go, okay, I'll buy it. So I really don't know much about what it is, if it's just, I think it's a standalone, not a series. But yeah, I look forward to reading it when I get it back, whenever I do get it back. I mean, she's in no rush. I have other books to read. That's the other book that I got at Target. Then I went back to I went back to Barnes & Noble and I got more books. I think I got this with the others. Maybe I got 5 books on that September 1st. Did this come out September 1st? No, this came out in like August. So I don't know when I got this book, but I got it at some point, but at Barnes & Noble, and that's The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. This is the second book to, I don't know what it's called, but the first book is The Beautiful, and it's just so pretty. Again, I haven't read the first book yet, but it's supposed to have something about vampires, and apparently there's no vampires in the first book, so I'm hoping that there's vampires in the second book. I don't know if this is going to be a trilogy or a series. I just like to buy books that other people read. So yeah, I don't know much about it because I don't want to spoil myself. I haven't spoiled myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this once I read the first book, The Beautiful. I'm going to be very careful going into it just because of the reviews, but because of them, I know not to expect too much of vampires. But yeah, so I just got this because I was there, and I was like, okay, I'll get it. That's what I do a lot of. Then from Barnes & Noble, I always go with my cousin, but every time we go there, we look at the buy one get one 50% off table, and usually we all, it's just 2 of us, usually we both will get 1 book each and then split the price in half, basically. So instead of me paying full price and her being 50% off, it's kind of like 75-75 type of thing. So I got Labyrinth by Catherine Coulter. The back seems interesting. It just says, oh, this is the Agent Sherlock guy. Okay, woman, my bad. Agent Sherlock gets T-boned. A man's body slams against her windshield, and then when she regains consciousness, no one knows where he was, the guy who she struck, because he ran away. They discover that he's a CIA analyst at Langley, and he's still missing. And then Special Agent Griffin Hammersmith rescues a kidnapped woman, claiming her captor had murdered 3 missing teenage girls. However, the man she accuses is a local sheriff's nephew and a member of a very powerful family, reputed to have special powers. When the sheriff arrests Griffin and Carson, Griffin calls Agent Savage for help. Together they have to weave their way through a labyrinth of lies to find out the truth about a terrible secret. So I don't know if the 2 stories are going to interwoven somehow, but that's kind of cool if it does. I kind of just picked it up on a whim, read the back and go, that kind of sounds interesting. Like, I'm curious about how that's gonna work. So I got that, and then I don't know what book she got, but I'm excited to read this. Maybe I'll read it soon. Maybe when I'm in like a thriller mystery mood, I will read this one. Then the other book I got from Barnes & Noble was Jade City by Fonda Lee. A girl on Instagram that I follow raves about this book. She absolutely loves it. And it was the winner of the World Fantasy Award of 2018, so pretty good. Oh, it's the Green Bone Saga. So maybe that's gonna be 4 books. The second one is Jade War. It's good and it's red. Don't really know what it's about. I just needed some more fantasy because I feel like I have a lot of fantasy, but I wasn't in the mood for any of those fantasies because I have a lot of like young adult fantasy, but I didn't want to read young adult, and yet I still haven't read this. But family is duty, magic is power, honor is everything. There's Greenbone warriors who use magical jade to enhance their abilities to defend the island of Kekon from foreign invasion. Now the war is over and a new generation vies for control of the capital city. 4 siblings of the powerful Caldwell family must prepare for battle, and the fragile peace between the clans is about to break. So it just sounds pretty cool, pretty interesting. Map! I get distracted easily, I'm sorry. So it sounds really cool. Oh, there's multiple maps! I know that the girl who I follow absolutely loved the book, so I got the first book, and I hope to read it soon. The next book I got was Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is one of her first books, I think. It got reprinted with the new cover, and I think everyone absolutely loved the new cover. I don't know, I kind of just bought it on the whim because I like her writing style. I don't know, this wasn't on my radar, and then everyone else was reading it. And I go, okay, I'll get it and read it, like every other book on my shelf. But it does sound interesting now. Now I think that I started to read more, like, other things other than just, like, YA stuff. It picked up on my radar. I don't know, everyone was talking about it, so I bought it. So the next book, and actually the last one from Barnes & Noble, is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. This was on my radar. It popped up on my Amazon feed one day, and I was like, ooh, that's cool. That looks like it's an interesting book, and I think I borrowed it from my library and I never read it like on my Kindle because my Kindle was terrible. I recently just got a new one and I love it so far. But then I was at Barnes & Noble and we were just like browsing. We were about to leave and out of the corner of my eye I saw it and I go, you know what? Let me just buy it because it looks like an interesting book. I wanted to read it. I'm here now. I might as well just get it. So it says, wanted, one fake boyfriend, practically perfect in every way. Luke O'Donnell is famous. His rock star parents split when he was young, and his father he's never met spent the next 20 years cruising in and out of rehab. Now his dad's making a comeback. Luke's back in the public eye, and one compromising photo is enough to ruin everything. To clean up his image, Luke has to find a nice, normal relationship, and Oliver Blackwood is a nice and normal as they come. He's a barrister, and an ethical vegetarian, and he's never inspired a moment of scandal in his life. In other words, perfect boyfriend material. Unfortunately, apart from being gay, single, and really, really in the need of a date for a big event, Luke and Oliver have nothing in common, so they strike a deal to be a publicly friendly fake boyfriends until the dust has settled. Then they can go their separate ways and pretend it never happened. But the thing about fake dating is that it can feel a lot like real dating, and that's when you get used to someone, start falling for them, don't ever want to let them go. So this kind of just reminds me of Red, White, and Royal Blue in a way. I mean, other than the fact that they were both famous, there's one famous guy in here. And it looks like it's gonna take place in England of some sort, and I love this cover. Absolutely love it. So, you know what? Definitely gonna read it soon. It's really giving me Red, White, and Royal Blue vibes, and I absolutely loved that book. So, I bought it, and I'm happy that I did. So the next couple books I got from my Owl Crate subscriptions, minus one because I don't know where I put it. I think it's in my room. I don't necessarily remember what order they came in, other than a couple. Try my best. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Goddess in the Machine. Oh, spoiler for anyone. I mean, I feel like everyone's gotten their book by now, but the first one is Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. This edition has like the new cover, and then it has like the gold sprayed edges. Absolutely beautiful. It has a little thingy on the front. Not really sure what that's for. I've never heard of this book before it came in Owl Crate. That's one of the reasons why I subscribe to Owl Crate, is because a lot of the times I've never heard of the books that are in the box, and it helps me read more openly and diversely because I tend to stick to the same types of authors and genres, so this helps expand it personally. So I have no idea really what it's about. It says decide your fate on the back. When Andrea wakes up, she's drowning. Not only that, but she's in a hot, dirty cave. It's the year 3102, and everyone keeps calling her Goddess. She went into a chronic sleep for a trip across the galaxy and expected to wake up in 100 years, not 1,000. Worst of all, the rest of the colonists, including her family and friends, are dead. They died centuries ago, and for some reason, their descendants think Andra's a deity. She knows she's nothing special, but she'll play along if it means she can figure out why she was left in this status and how to get back to Earth, basically. It sounds interesting, and I do want to read it, and it's a very beautiful cover, and I love sprayed edges. I want to do that to more of my books, so I'm excited to get it. So I don't remember which box it was, but it was in one of them. The next book that I got in an Owl Crate is Incendiary, I think, by Zorita Cordova. Definitely pronouncing that wrong, and I'm sorry. Again, I never heard of this book until I got it in an Owl Crate. The back says, I am Renata Convita. I have lived 100 stolen lives. Now I live my own. So it doesn't have any sprayed edges or anything. Nothing on that. But Renata was an only child when she was kidnapped by a king's justice and brought to the luxurious palace of Andalusia. As a memory thief, the rarest and most feared of the magical Moria, Renata was used by the crown to carry out the king's wrath, a siege that resulted in the deaths of thousands of her people. Now Renata is one of the Whisperers, rebel spies working against the crown. The Whisperers may have rescued Renata years ago, but she cannot escape their mistrust and hatred or the overpowering memories of the hundreds of souls she's drained during her lifetime in the palace. When Des, the commander of her unit and the boy she's grown to love, is taken captive by the notorious Principe Dorado, Renata must return to Andalusia and complete Des's top secret mission for herself. Can she keep her cover even as she burns for vengeance against the brutal inanimate prince? Her life and the fate of the Moria depend on it. So it sounds really good. I don't know if it's a series standalone or whatnot, but I am looking forward to it. And I think the cover is very pretty. I kind of like the Owl Crate edition covers more than the original ones, which is good. So I look forward to it. The next one that I got is Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. Again, never heard of it before until Owl Crate. It has the purple sprayed edges. This was, I know, the star themed one. Basically, it says, if the night sky holds many secrets, it holds Chatal Mistry's secret the closest. A secret that explains why her hair is the silver of starlight and why some nights the stars call Chatal by name. Stars like her mother who returned to her place in the constellation Pushia years ago. Since that day, Chatal has been forced to hide. But as her 17th birthday draws near, the pull from the sky is growing stronger. So strong that Chatal loses control and a flare of starfire burns her human father, an injury only a full star's blood can heal. Chatal has no choice but to answer to the star song and ascend to the sky, but her celestial family has summoned her for a reason, to act as their human champion in a competition to decide the next ruling house of the heavens. Desperate to save her father, Chatal agrees, but nothing could have prepared Chatal to face the star's dark history or the forces that are working to shut the gate between the realms for good. So again, I haven't heard of it before Owl Crate. I like to go into Owl Crate without knowing what the books are going to be, so spoiler free. And it sounds so good. The cover is gorgeous, and there's a competition, and I love competitions. That's one of my favorite things about books, is when they have competitions. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. So the next one was the September book box. I know that for a fact. And that is Horrid by Katrina Leno. It has a reversible cover, but I personally prefer the first one, the front. Basically, let's see. Is this grief mental illness or something more horrid? Following her father's death, Jane North Robinson and her mom, Ruth Ellen, moved from sunny California to the dreary, depleted old house in Maine where Ruth grew up. All they want is a fresh start, but behind North Manor's doors lurks a history that leaves them feeling more alone and more tortured. As the cold New England autumn arrives and Jane settles into her new home, she finds solace in old books and memories of her dad. She steadily begins making friends, but Jane also faces bullying from the resident bad seed and struggles to tamp down her own worst nature in response. Ruth seems to be spiraling with the return to her childhood home, but she won't reveal why. Then Jane discovers that the storage room Ruth has kept locked isn't a storage room at all. It's a little girl's bedroom left untouched for years and not quite as empty of inhabitants as it appears. So this sounds really good, very interesting. Again, cover's gorgeous. I was supposed to read this in October, never did. So I'm looking forward to reading it soon, hopefully. Okay, the next book that I got from Owl Crate, which was the October box. This was the October box. And it is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I screamed when this book came out because I was planning on putting it on like a birthday list or like a Christmas list of some sort and getting it later on. But now I don't have to because it came in an Owl Crate and I was very excited because this was one that everyone was raving about this book. Like, I heard nothing but good reviews on this book. And it has the reversible jacket as well. This is your beginning. So I think that's very pretty, but again, I'm probably going to keep the original on the cover. So the back says, when the shadows rise, so will the light. When blood is shed, blood will call. By the king's table for the order's might. By our eternal oaths, the line is law. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called Legendborn students who hunt the creatures down. As mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and her buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if it means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and the reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveals themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she'll go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. So I'm very excited to read this one. I believe it's going to be a duology, trilogy series. Like, it's not a standalone, basically. I know it's not a standalone. And this cover is just so pretty. So I'm looking forward to reading this one too. So the final book that I got, and I believe it's in my room, I don't know where I put it, but the last book that I got, also an Owl Crate edition, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I will put like a picture up or something on the screen of the edition that I got from Owl Crate. I was supposed to get it like basically the first week of October, however, due to production of some of the thing included in the box, it was postponed and I didn't get it until like the end of October. So I never got around to reading it for October. However, I'll read it sometime soon, I assume, because that was one of my most anticipated books of the year. Basically, Addie LaRue makes a deal with the devil and to live forever. However, everybody that she meets, they will forget about her until one day a boy remembers her name. That's all I know about the book. Apparently it's very heart-wrenching. That's all I really know about it, and that's all I kind of really want to know about it. I kind of want to just go into it blind. So those are all the books that I've acquired recently. Again, it's not much. I've kind of been holding myself back. I have like 25 books in my book outlet cart right now, and I haven't bought any of them, so proud of me for that. But with the Christmas season coming and my birthday, because my birthday is the first day of December. I know people are going to be asking what I want for my birthday, so I kind of just I've been holding back so I can just get it for the Christmas season, which I will do its own haul later on in the year. But thank you for watching. Let me know if I should move any of these books up on my TBR, if there's any I should read right away, if there's some I should wait for a particular reason, like for a season. Let me know. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope you return. So subscribe down below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!